Imagine having two part-time jobs and not being able to afford a home. For a lot of people, this is a reality. Housing prices are the leading cause of homelessness, as well as gentrification. A lot of people that have master's or doctorate degrees aren't able to afford a home because they can't find a job. I've done a lot of research on this topic and I'd like to discuss how this is a major issue. Homelessness is due to high housing prices. The urban housing affordability crisis in the United States heavily impacts low-income families. Over half of low-income families spend more than half their income on housing, even though these families should be spending their income on vital expenditures which will jeopardize their well-being and life chances if we don't do something about this. Welfare state retention in advanced economies are moving more towards a market-driven housing system. Welfare state retention is where the government cuts back on social welfare programs. Since they're cutting back on social welfare, this makes it a lot harder for people to move to buy more houses. A lot of researchers have discovered that high housing prices are a leading cause to homelessness. Being homeless also leads to major health consequences. They are more likely to experience chronic health issues, mental health disorders, and substance abuse. This causes a lot of the stigma around homeless people. The stigma that is given to homeless people gives them worse access to health care and has a very negative impact on their general health and service access. As a result, they experience extreme social seclusion, which causes poor mental and physical health. And speaking of these inequalities, gentrification will be my next point. Gentrification is another leading cause of homelessness, which forces low-income renters to make hard choices. They either often stay and pay rising rents, or they move somewhere with fewer services and amenities. When affordable housing is scarce and people are exiting gentrifying neighborhoods, they're forced to move to places with higher crime rates, lower quality schools. Whether they move or stay, they're going to experience higher housing or transportation costs. These low-income renters are forced to spend less money on food, healthcare, and other important life goods. A lot of times when people move from gentrifying neighborhoods to cheaper ones, they change jobs that in return will make them less money. After moving, people tend to argue that this is only a concern if decreasing welfare exceeds the benefits of gentrification. As a result, low-income people will be satisfied with a very low living standard, believing that this is all they have hope of getting. A big cause of gentrification is less demand for unskilled labor, which leads to less demand for cheap housing in the city. This creates increased demand for professional managerial employees. This increases transportation costs and lots of congestion. Law enforcement gets deployed in gentrifying neighborhoods to displace low-income citizens. This is known as social cleansing colonization. Social cleansing colonization is where low-income people are displaced. So even though there are long-term socioeconomic benefits in high-opportunity neighborhoods, this can negatively impact lower income people, but there are potential solutions to solve gentrification and high housing prices. One of them is increased public intervention to solve gentrification and high housing prices. A great tool is community empowerment and tenant protection. Rent control is a part of tenant protection that helps keep neighborhoods affordable, such as rent ceilings, rent skewing, rent subsidies. Rent ceilings helps prevent displacement for lower income families. Rent skewing helps lower income residents by providing subsidies to make their rent cheaper paid by high income residents. Rent subsidies are public funds used as a tenant protection strategy. Community empowerment and citizen participation are great ways to get involved. Social movements are a great solution to gentrification to keep lower housing prices as an effective solution, because social movements are shown as distrust of the government and the market. Another solution is educating the local population and counseling. The more people we inform and educate on the matter, the better. Another good thing is to provide legal assistance for people going through evictions. This is also known as eviction-free zone. The eviction-free zone is the U.S. providing to educate tenants on their rights. Community benefits agreements help preserve the rights of the community in negotiation with prospective developers and the community. The community benefits agreement provides community in exchange for their support and legal assistance. This is a good way for tenants to avoid getting displaced and managing gentrification and housing prices. It's a collaborative effort between the community and the government. In conclusion, I hope this speech helped you realize a major issue of homelessness and high housing prices. I hope this helps someone getting displaced and for you to take action in your community to prevent homelessness. It always starts with one person, and that person could be you.